All right, we want to call the September 7th council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, pledge.
All right, you rolling?
Councilman Asbill. Present. Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Wheeler.
Present.
Mayor Bodier.
Present.
Police Chief Walker.
Here.
Fire Chief St. Cyr.
Present.
Finance Director Todd Tunion.
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry.
Present.
And Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee. Present.
Okay, just real fast with comments tonight, because we have a long agenda today. We did the grand opening for Little J's Donuts. It was fun. What a great atmosphere. A lot of people showed up. Thank you, Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang and Councilman Dino Bonanno. It's just a beacon of hope in our community. You know, for a time like this to open a brand new business, it's fantastic to see. I assured him that he has all our support, and I'm hoping that the community will get out and support him like they've supported all our businesses through this past COVID event. And I want to say congratulations to Joshua and his family. Congratulations to Little J, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
Mayor,
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
it's so funny. Make a motion to move the agenda to add special recognitions to special presentations number 1.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to, do you want to move it to 4 or 1?
1, please.
Okay, I'd like to take out, if you don't mind, I'd like to take the candidates first. You guys have something that you have to attend to tonight? So can we take the candidates first?
That works.
So make them 2? Special presentations 2?
Yes.
Yes, it would
just
be
call all
special
candidates
presentation 2, correct, Jason?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Second?
Okay, I have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Agenda is amended.
Move to amend the agenda to add Danny McKieran, JW Colonial Group, to special presentations at the end.
We have a motion by Councilman Asbill to move Danny McCarron, I believe, into number 5 spot in special presentations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. McCarron is added.
Yes.
And then, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to add ordinance number 2021-23 for first reading.
2021-23. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler
Second.
and wanting to add ordinance 2021-23. Do I have a second? Councilman Asbill? I
Should be
do.
2020.
I'm sorry.
2020.
2020-23.
-23. You said
Did I say 20? I
You did.
apologize. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Second by Councilman Asbill?
Oh, let me read it.
Oh, okay.
So this would be an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1875 to sell property owned by the City of New Orleans, providing for the procedure, City of Harahan, excuse me, providing for the procedure to be utilized pursuant to the provisions of LRS 33:4712, which provides for the sale, exchange, or lease of property by a municipality.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance is added. Is that it for amendments?
Yes, sir.
You ready? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get you guys up quick. All right, special presentations. All right, candidates, come on up. By the way, we enjoy this in Harahan. We love this very much. It helps get our citizens informed. And so I know other councils and cities don't do this, but we love it here. So you guys are welcome back every time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the City Council. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Chris Cox, and I'm a candidate for judge here in Jefferson Parish. I'm running for Division B of the 24th JDC. I know that you know this, but for the benefit of your constituents who may not, they will be asked on November 3rd to vote for 2 different divisions of court, Division B and Division H. So my opponent is in chambers this evening, Mr. Pat Rooney. 2 other candidates are running for Division H. That's Chick Foray and Jerry Smith. Pat and I are not running against the 2 of them. We're just running against each other. Just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a prosecutor and a public servant. I have 16 years of prosecution experience. I have worked for the Jefferson Parish DA's office for a total of 10 years. And I also worked for the U.S. Attorney's Office prosecuting violent crimes. When Jim Letton was the U.S. Attorney, I did that for 6 years. In addition, I have served as a Chief Operating Officer of Jefferson Parish. I did that for just over 3 years. And what I feel makes me qualified for the position is trial experience. I think that a judge should have significant trial experience before taking the bench. When I was with the DA's office the first time, I tried 54 jury trials, handled hundreds of cases that resulted or ultimately resulted in guilty pleas, but I tried 54 cases. When I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I tried another 12 cases. So again, I think it's the trial experience that makes me qualified for this position. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you also for allowing me to speak to y'all today. My name is Pat Rooney. I'm running for Division B, 24th Judicial District Court Judge. Chris Cox is my opponent. Just a little bit about myself. I've been practicing for 30 years. We have 7 offices, me and my 2 brothers, in 7 offices, and I've practiced in 17 different parishes in state, federal, and parish courts. And practicing lawyers handle lots of cases. And if you check my record, I've handled personally thousands of cases in Jefferson Parish. Not as a trial lawyer, quote unquote, but as a lawyer that represents people. And these decisions that come down in Jefferson Parish courts change lives. It's not just a criminal court. It's family court. It's divorce, it's custody, it's succession law, it's contracts. I've been handling these cases for 30 years. And a practicing lawyer is important to know what works in courts and what doesn't work in other courts. Because I'm going to bring that experience, I'm going to bring changes to the courts that I know will save time and money, and I know families need to save time and money. Spending a lot of time in courts, it costs them money. They're missing work. I will be fair. I will be prepared. I'll be ready on day 1 for this case, for this court. I'm a very big proponent of community service, and I think if you check my record on that, I think it's going to be unmatched. I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club, Knights of Columbus. I've coached in the playgrounds, and I want my family to continue to live here. And to do that, I want to have a safe community so my daughter and my son can work here, and I can watch my grandkids grow up here, and hopefully coach one day these grandkids in the playgrounds. But I appreciate it. I would love the support of Harahan. Thank you for inviting me, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Constable Jason Earl. I know we met the last council meeting. Pleasure to be here again tonight. Just a little update on me and what we're doing, the constable's office. We have visited every house in Harahan with the exception of one. There was a councilwoman who said that I did not visit her house, but I beg to differ on that. I think she just missed me. So we have visited every house in Harahan. We're going to continue to do that. Visit all the other houses throughout our district. So we've touched 30,000 homes so far. We have about 8,000 to 9,000 to go. Plan on doing that. If that's any indication of how I'm going to run my office, that's how it's going to be. I'm going to be on the streets. I'm going to be with the people. Actually, one good example of that is I was visiting people along Colonial Club Drive last night. Ran into a problem with a constituent. They asked if they can get something fixed. Called the mayor. Mayor jumped on it right away. Mayor Tim Bodier jumped on it. It was fixed today. So hopefully I can assist you guys any way that I can, as well as Chief Walker any way that I can with you. And I thank you all again for all of your support, and looking forward to November 3rd. And just wanted to say hi to my fellow Kenner resident, Mr. Al Morella. So thank y'all. Have a good night.
Hey,
Okay.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
I know that I know that, judges can't come out and visit us. But man, I'd like to, if you can, and you do win this race and you are successful, man, I'd like you to come, stop by. Every third Thursday we're here.
Absolutely.
If we're not, there's a change on a moniker outside. You know, it's a pleasure to see you. I was just so impressed yesterday when you called me, just paying attention to such little things like you did. And of course, when you call up, as any citizen would call up, but you know, I went out there and we got it fixed immediately. I appreciate that because that's important, because if it wouldn't have been for you, the truth is, I mean, I've been here 2 years and haven't gotten a call, but we got it fixed right away, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and look, I appreciate you jumping on it so quick. And reason I do appreciate that even more than probably the regular resident would be, because I was Jefferson Parish Councilman Dominic Impastado's aide for 2.5 years. So my main duty was community relations. So I was going to civic association meetings, City of Kenner council meetings, and just keeping our office in the community. So I'm going to continue to do that. I enjoy doing it, and I look forward to working with all of y'all. So thank you. Any other questions?
I did have dinner cooked prior to you.
You
coming
did?
on.
Okay, good, because I saw your son, and I didn't see you, so. All right, well, thank y'all very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys, I'd like to take a 1 second of a personal privilege, if you don't mind. I'd like to recognize Mr. Al Morella. He's actually been a part of my political life probably since day one, and he's a great guy. He's always giving those people at Jefferson Parish a hard time. We love it, you know. If you want to get up and say something, you're more than welcome. I'd like to say everybody here in Harahan, and you know, to see someone who's been with me for as long as you have.
My name is Al Morella. I'm a resident of Kenner, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District and 4th District, unincorporated Jefferson, 48 years. And like the mayor said, I've been politically active in Kenner for almost 50 years, almost as long as I've been back there, and almost 30 years in unincorporated Jefferson Parish. And I like to believe that I speak for the people. That's who I speak for. And, you know, I ask the questions, like the mayor said. Maybe it's questions they don't like to hear, but they're going to hear them anyway. Because nobody will ever stop me from exercising my First Amendment right to freedom of speech.
You got it.
Okay? So, Mayor, are the two candidates still in here for the judgeship? They going?
No, yeah, they had to run. They have another function to go to. That's why we called them up quick.
All right, because can I say something real quick?
Sure, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to ask them, you know, where do they stand on transparency, conduct on the bench of the justices, of the judges? It's been a hot topic. It's been in the news a lot here lately. They have passed a little legislation in last legislative session, I think it was, but it doesn't go quite far enough. So I just wanted to know where both of them stand on that.
We'll be back here on the third Thursday of the next month. You welcome back. I'm sure the candidates will be back here, and we'll take some time out so you can put them on the hot seat.
Okay, okay, Tim. Thank
You
you.
got it.
Anybody got any comments, any questions they want to ask me?
No, sir. You the
Thanks
man.
for coming to Harahan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, Councilman Isbell, I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, you're good. Thank you. So we were lucky enough in Harahan to dodge 3 hurricanes now: Hurricane Marco, Laura, and Sally. And after Hurricane Laura hit Southwest Louisiana and Lake Charles and that area, we had a group of guys, fire, police, and a couple of a city hall employee decided they wanted to go help out because they know that we've been in that position before, and we needed help, and people came to our rescue and helped us. So they wanted to pay that back and pay it forward for when we need help in the future. So I'm going to just start a slideshow here, and we have a special recognition for these guys that went out and did some work in these towns. So I'm just going to read it, list the names, and then we'll call them up for pictures and stuff like that. The Office of the Mayor, City of Harahan, Certificate of Special Recognition presented to Todd St. Cyr, Scott St. Cyr, Gary Hopkins, Chris Benoit, Kevin Mullins, Richard F. Steves Jr., William Cunningham, Brian Wallace, David Mitchell, John Dunning, and Nick Schneider. I do hereby express the pride of the city by conferring this special award in acknowledgement of selfless service during Hurricane Laura response in Allen and/or Beauregard parishes. In testimony whereof, I hereunto set my hand and affix the seal of the City of Harahan, State of Louisiana, this 17th day of September 2020. Timothy Baudier, Mayor. Now, we can't fit everybody up here at once, so we'll come up one by one and take a picture. I'll call the names just in the order that I have them. Sergeant Mitchell, is he here? No? All right. Officer Dunning. And Chief, you come up as well.
I guess so.
Mask off?
If that's all right with us. Officer Snyder? Todd St. Cyr. Scott St. Cyr. Gary Hopkins.
Smells good.
Chris Benoit.
No, you leave your mask on.
Kevin Mullins. William Cunningham. Brian Wallace. Ricky F. Steves. Hey, Brian, I gave you the wrong one. Did you really? Y'all can switch out.
Smells good.
That's it.
He worked right there with us the whole time.
Hey guys, these guys worked their butts off for 2 days. They slept in the council chambers on cots at City Hall. They took showers at a volunteer fire department. And we are lucky to have a paid full-time fire department because we can help ourselves. These other towns could not because they didn't have that, that luxury of having a full-time paid fire department. And so we're thankful to have that here so that we can help ourselves. And we know that we'll need help in the future. So these guys were great, great representatives of the city of Harahan. We should be proud of them. One more time, please. Thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind.
You know, a number of times we've faced that very same situation where we've been kind of left short a little bit and appreciated the help that came to our aid. And so we wanted to pay that forward, and we've done it in the past, and we will do it again in the future. We have a really good group of guys, and we're lucky to have them. I just spoke to the mayor yesterday, and he was very thankful, still very thankful. You know, he called himself a friend for life. I think they sent a proclamation to the city. Yeah, they put it up there. They've sent a note along with it. And, you know, what a lovely family they had, and just a good group of people that just didn't know really which way to turn. And,
Yeah.
you know, at one point the mayor looked at us and said, "Hey, how much is this going to cost us?" And when we told him nothing, you know, his eyes welled up and was just very gracious and thankful that we were there to help them. And that's what we do it for. If we can pay it forward and help get their power back on a little sooner, or get a family out that can't get out otherwise, we're happy to be there to be able to do that. So it's these guys back there. They all work hard. Thank you.
Guys, just so everyone knows, these guys volunteered their time. That wasn't taxpayer, city dollars. That was their individual time. They volunteered to go out and do this, to help this community, and we do appreciate it. I believe the mayor of Kinder had one problem, is he said we supported John Curtis. They still holding a grudge from 1979. But thank you, guys.
Mayor, before we move on, I forgot to add something. I want to make a motion to add to new business number 3, the trunk or treat for no limits.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Johnson to add to new business number 3, trunk or treat for no limits. Craig Johnson, I'm sorry. Can I get a second? Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Added to new business.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right there, Mr. Alan Mercado's right there.
We have Alan Mercado with the Harahan Lions Club.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Appreciate it. Reason why I'm here, my name is Alan Bracata, and I'm the treasurer, past president of the Harahan Lions Club at 1001 Hickory, right across from the playground there. We have some fundraisers that we have coming up soon, and we'd like to ask that y'all support us as you always did in the past. Give us your support. Mayor Baudier, all the council members, Chief Walker, Chief Sincere, always, we really need your help. Along with, all of charitable organizations, been working with the VFW also. They're kind of struggling right now too and trying to get things going. And in fact, we're working, helping each other. But we have 2 events coming up pretty soon. We have a craft show that's going to be this Saturday, okay, from 9 to 3. So we have over 30 vendors in there now, okay, that are putting on the show. They have woodwork, they have people that woodwork, they have specialty masks, they have jewelry, clothes, just to say a few. So they have a lot of different things, and we need your support and also the citizens' support to help us with that. Also, we have a raffle, which we're going to have in November the 6th. That's when we're going to do the drawing. We'll be selling tickets. If anybody would like tickets, my daughter Angel Sheremy, she's been handling the tickets for us, and give her a call and she can get some tickets out to you. 799-7105. Okay. We're a nonprofit, just like the VFW. We try to help those that are physical and mentally challenged and try to help them. We have a Eye Foundation, which we recycle. In fact, the Harahan Lions Club recycles old glasses, and we give them to people that can't afford them, and that can't afford glasses. And we're the main drop-off for the whole district there, right? We have a box right in the front. All the other Lions clubs around here send them over to us. We clean them up and recycle them and send them back to them. So that's one of the things we do. Plus, we have a Lions camp where we have the physical and mental challenged children that go there to the camp and enjoy the camp. So we support that. And also, we always, as Chief Walker always supports us with the Halloween party. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to have it this year, but we have a big Halloween party every year for about 300 or so children. Mayor Baudier always helps us out too, and we really appreciate that help. But we might not have it this year because they don't want the children to come in because of the pandemic, I'm afraid. But we might try to work out something where we can bring them some candy and maybe some stuff over to the Magnolia School and different schools that they have for the children. And also, just want to say that our rentals haven't been too well, as you know, most of the halls and all the VFW, us, we're not really having too many rentals. That's why we're trying to generate some income with other things. So these two functions are really important to us, so that we continue to try to help as many people as we can, as many children as we can, and of course the VFW trying to help as many disabled veterans as they can. So we're both working together there. We had, in fact, I have to say, we have Tab Henderson and Julie Henderson, who worked with us. Now they're members of the Lions Club too. We work together with those projects. And I have to thank Chief Walker for sending him over to see me. He called me. I mentioned to you that we were kind of struggling with some of the projects, and you sent Tab over to talk to me, and that's been a year now, and we had a good year going. I mean, until this pandemic hit, and then everything fell through. But hopefully things are starting to clear up a little bit, and we'll be doing a little better. But like I said, these projects are real important to us in order to be able to keep us operating. And also, if the dates again, to go back over them, it's going to be Saturday, September the 19th, and it's 9 to 3. And also the raffle, we're going to be selling the tickets up. And we're only going to sell about 200 tickets, so you have a pretty good chance of winning, okay? So you'll have a good chance. It's a $5,000 raffle, $50 a chance, okay? So, and like I said, we're not going to try to sell a whole bunch. We want to be fair. We're about 200, and we'd be happy with that, if we sell 200 tickets. So are there any questions or anything that I can answer? Anybody has any questions?
If you do when you do go over to the Magnolia School, if that's the route y'all choose to take this year, just make sure you let us know. I have Angel. I mean, Angel's never shy on calling me.
Yeah.
Just have her call me and let me know, and so we'll all try to get
Oh,
together
that'd be
and be
great.
a part of that as well,
Yeah.
and try to at
Yeah.
least get you, if anything, get you some help on getting some candy.
Great. Thank you. We
Yes, sir.
sure will. Mary, the one that's in charge of Magnolia School there, she's checking to see if they're able to do it. You know, they
Yes,
may not allow us to even want to bring things into the school, but I'll sure will let y'all know if
You
it
got it.
works
Thank
out
you.
for us, okay? And again, thank y'all so much for your help in the past. Appreciate you letting me talk tonight.
No
Thank you.
problem. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief Walker.
All right, Chief Walker, current state of the Harahan Police Department.
Good evening, Tim Walker, Harahan Police Chief. So I want to talk about upcoming events, especially what's going on with the COVID-19. We're not going to have Night Out Against Crime this year. It's canceled. Christmas Parade this year is going to be canceled. However, I am concerned about Halloween. I've had some questions about it. This is what I'm proposing and I want the council's input, if you can give it to me. I guess number one, it's going to be what phase we're going to be in around the end of October. That's going to be number one. We plan on doing a poll with the residents on Dosha and Stoneleigh to get an idea how many will be contributing or giving out candy that night, and that will give us an idea whether we need to close the street or not. We'll either do a door-to-door canvas, knocking on doors, or we'll go door-to-door and leave a flyer for the people on those two streets, Dosha and Stoneleigh, to respond to us if they plan on participating, giving out candy. And again, it'll give us an idea how much personnel we need to bring out Halloween night. Secondly, do we have to close the streets or not? There's going to be that much participation. We also received yesterday a request for a block party on Magnolia for you all to approve it. It's up to the council. We will provide a detail if it's approved tonight, but that's up to the council. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be, I thought it was coming up tonight, but I want to just give you a heads up. We have a request for a detail and also for y'all to okay closing Magnolia right off Jefferson Highway on Halloween night. So it's something to think about. If y'all have any concerns or whatever, please let me know. Again, we're going to get closer to that time with the phases, with the state and with the parish, and what's the pleasure. Also, forget about the drug take-back box. It's located in the lobby for your unwanted prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs. And always see something, say something, dial 911. Thank you.
Chief, if I might add to your comment about doing a canvas on Stoneleigh and Dosher.
Yes, sir.
I, last week, called about 10 people, spoke to 7 who live on West Imperial, Dosher, and Stoneleigh. And 7 out of 7 said they were not going to be giving out candy this year.
I've heard that
as
pretty
much
much
as it
myself.
pains them.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do anything to contribute to a large crowd gathering.
Correct.
And for those of you who have participated, it is wall-to-wall people. It is, I mean, you're a foot away from people for hours. And my wife and I, it's a big event for us every year, a family event. We're the 8 out of 8 that we're not going to be giving out candy this year. But I think a canvas is a great idea because while all 8 people, including my wife that I spoke to, are not going to be participating, it'd be a good idea. That my fear, though, about not blocking off the street is that we get a lot of residents from Harahan and we get a lot of residents from outside of Harahan. And people may show up.
That's my concern. We estimate in the past we've get 3,000 plus 4,000 people. You know, they drinking, they having a good time, but we
Right.
know we have officers on every corner, and it cuts down
Right.
the shenanigans.
So something to consider if would be to literally barricade off some of the north-south streets
Yeah.
for everybody except people who live there.
Yeah. And it's also getting the word out, because again,
Right.
the majority of the people that come through Stoneleigh and Dosha do not live in or reside in Harahan. Yeah.
But thank
So
you
it
for
is a
being
concern.
proactive in that matter.
Excuse me, Chief, I do have a couple comments. I understand we're gonna ask these people, there's a lot more than just Dosher and Sedgefield, you know, in that neighborhood. You're gonna have people that are gonna wanna participate. You're gonna have people that aren't gonna wanna participate. I feel you need to have your officers ready either way. I mean,
know.
even if they don't call
No,
a
let me-
block
Let me
party.
correct that. Our reserve unit covers all of Dosha and Stoneway. We still gonna have officers out on patrol, that's not gonna stop. But I would bring 16, 18 officers out just on Stoneway and Dosha from the reserve. I'm not counting the other officers that are working the street. That's still gonna go on no matter what. I'm just concerned about if we have to block that street off, we probably will, and I will have to have the people on two officers on each corner. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the rest of the city.
Right, I'm saying even if people say that they're not participating, you're still gonna have people going trick or treating back there.
Oh, I understand that, yes.
And if we do block the streets off, I mean, I believe if I understood right, you said, you know, for residents only. You still have residents back there that do want to trick or treat.
Yeah, it's just not, it may not be the mass quantities of 4,000 people in the street.
I agree, but at the same time, the city of New Orleans is closed. You're gonna have more people here than you had before. Just my thought.
I understand.
And I think we need to be prepared for the whole
I am
city.
preparing for it. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to give
'cause,
you all a heads up.
I mean,
what
even
I'm
if we
looking
say
at.
we're not gonna close these streets, we're not gonna have these parties, they're still coming. I mean, I'm not saying they need to come. I mean, people need to take their own protection for their own family. If I'm not safe for somebody trick or treating, I'm gonna turn my lights off. We're gonna stay inside. Same thing. If I'm not safe for trick or treating, I'm not gonna bring my family out trick or treating. People need to take their own responsibilities and step up for their own families. Different people have different beliefs, and I mean, I'll support anybody's belief, whatever they believe. They believe they want to wear a mask, I'm gonna support them to wear a mask. If they don't want to wear a mask, that's their prerogative too. I'm gonna wear a mask out of respect to others, but we got a tough challenge here, and I mean, I'm glad to know you're preparing for it, but I think we're gonna have to make some tighter decisions as we get closer to Halloween.
That's what I was waiting to see, and what phase we on, where we at the time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just giving you all update.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 5, Danny McCarron.
Hey guys, thanks. Give me a minute here to read something. So, what I want to do is really just make an announcement here on a little marketing campaign we're putting forward, and I'll just read out this letter that we sent to Harahan Business. And more than anything, what I want to do is take this opportunity to invite anybody that hasn't contacted us yet to contact. So, this was a letter that sent out. It said, "Dear fellow Harahan business owner, according to the recently released U.S. Census Bureau Small Business Pulse Survey, nearly 85% of businesses have experienced negative effects from COVID. These are difficult times, and here in Harahan, we are certainly not alone in this sentiment. As we look forward to brighter days ahead, we are putting a plan of action in place to help our community. Myself, along with my partners in the Colonial Club subdivision, have set out to create a video to showcase Harahan. The goal of the video is to position and highlight the city of Harahan as a place to live and do business. We have secured the services of an experienced filmmaker, Paul Catalanata. Paul brings experience doing similar work for other municipalities. We look forward to leveraging his skills and expertise to support Harahan. Paul is currently tasked with producing a promotional video entitled Harahan, Open for Business. There will be 2 versions of the video, a short format which will be used for local television and optimized for social media channels, and then a longer format which will allow us to highlight more of our businesses while showing off our beautiful town. We're currently seeking participation from business owners. The service has been paid for by myself and my partners who want to see our community succeed. What we are asking of you is to contact Mr. Catalanata if you would like us to film at your place of business and or to interview yourself or members of your staff. Please contact Paul directly with questions and to sign up to participate. He can be reached by email at amerigo79@gmail.com, AMERIGO79@gmail.com. We are excited to spearhead this endeavor, and we are ready to welcome the greater New Orleans area to Harahan to live and do business. So, That's it in a nutshell. I mean, the thought process, this has actually been a little while coming, was, gosh, must have been 3 months ago. You know, we have short memories, but 3 months ago, things were looking pretty bleak. Everything shut down, and the thought process was, you know, what can we do to kind of shine a light on what we have good going on here? And, so, you know, got together with my partners, thought that's something we could give back on. We sent that letter I just read. I should say, we tried to send it to everybody, if you were a business up and down Jefferson Highway and I thought you could benefit from it, we sent it. If it didn't get to you, this is sort of the reach out moment. If you could email Paul within I really would like to get this thing off the shelf. I'd like to think if anybody still has interest that haven't reached out to, and we've had a pretty good response. So I think folks that have wanted to reach out has reached out. But if there's any left, try to get back with us in the next week or two. And you know, that's it. It's more than anything. I think we have some good things going on here. I think the playground looks as good as it has looked in a long while. I think we're once again, I don't know, Chief, but again, vote one of the safest cities in Louisiana. I don't know if it was the or one of. We're consistently, I think we got rated again one of the best places to live in. You know, we have some good
No,
things.
the best.
The best.
The best. In 2 different publications.
You know, we have some good things here, right? And I don't know if we exactly pound our chest enough on that. We're probably a little humble city. There's some good in that. There's also sometimes you need to pound your chest. And honestly, I think when you're, you know, when your businesses need a leg up, that's the time to do it. So that was it. I appreciate you giving me the time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, approval of minutes. Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on August 20th.
Okay, public hearing is now open. No one come to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed.
Motion to defer. Motion to
Dispense with the
dispense.
reading of the minutes.
Yeah.
I have a motion
Second.
by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill to dispense with the reading of the minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Reading is
Up.
dispensed.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on August 20th.
Okay, public hearing is now open.
Motion. Oh, sorry.
Okay, no one come to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Buddy?
Motion to approve the minute.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson for the August 20th meeting. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved.
And reading of the minutes of the special meeting budget hearing on September 2nd.
Okay. Any one more motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Motion to
I
dispense.
have a motion by Councilman Johnson to dispense with the reading of the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
And approval of the minutes of the special meeting budget hearing on September 2nd.
Okay, public hearing is now open. No one come to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed. Do you have a motion to dispense with the minutes? Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by? Oh,
Yes,
sorry,
for-
this is to approve, I'm
Yes, for
sorry.
approval.
All right. Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved.
Communications, there are no communications, resolutions, no resolutions, and ordinances for approval. Proposed ordinance number 2020-15, an ordinance declaring surplus certain vehicle parts owned by the city of Harahan. And the ordinance was proposed by Councilman Buddy, and who would like to second that ordinance?
Second.
Chatelain.
Okay, public hearing is now open.
Like to comment.
Yes, sir.
When we did commission a police car, we take the cage out for safety reasons, that we don't want to sell a car with the cage in it. So we have an abundance of them in our warehouse. I had a request from the Eunice Police Department if they could get 5 of them, and that's what it's about. They're no use to us, they don't fit in any of the vehicles that we have. So they can put them to use, they can alter them or put them in their vehicles.
Thank you, Chief.
Motion to close public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion to close public, I have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor. 5 yeas, 0, well,
Yay.
sorry, we don't need to vote on that. All right, so public hearing is now closed. Okay, a motion to approve. Y'all want to discuss it? All right, council discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion.
Okay. All right. You have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-15?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance is approved.
All right, proposed ordinance number 2020-16. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman for electronic enforcement. Anybody like to second that one?
I'll second.
Asbill?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances by the addition of Article 7 Electronic Enforcement to Chapter 50 Motor Vehicles. Now that's,
Okay, like to open for public hearing. Okay. No one's coming to speak forward. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
I'd like to have the council discussion. I am gonna make a motion to defer this ordinance, but, I'd love to have input from the council to see, you know, where they stand on.
So, I've looked over it with Mr. Tommy, and we've got some things we'd like to make some changes on if possible. So we just haven't written those down and gotten them on paper yet. So, I think yes, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. I apologize, Miss May-Jean. I got together with Mr. Tommy and we discussed it a little bit. We've got some changes we'd like to see made, and we just haven't put pen to paper yet on those changes. So I think a deferral would be warranted, but I'm willing to hear everybody else's comments as well.
You want to hear me
Okay,
comment?
so-
I concur on a deferral. I'm in general agreement with the concept, but I think we want to clean it up a little bit and do it right, make sure we're getting the best ordinance we can. So I think a deferral is in order.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I agree, and I'll make that motion to defer.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Chatelain, second by
Second.
Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance is deferred.
all right, proposed ordinance number 2020-17. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston and seconded by Councilman
Second.
Asbill. An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances by the addition of Article 5, golf carts, to Chapter 50, motor vehicles and traffic.
Okay, I'd like to open for public hearing. Okay, no one coming to speak forth. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion? You got something?
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to discuss are lines 67 to 70.
I don't know, you got the revised one? I guess they're both the same.
I do have,
You need to see mine. It, and basically, as I understand this, and Councilman Asbill can clarify if I've got this wrong, is the revocation is only after 3 or more violations in a year. I think that's a bit generous on the city's part. If somebody's out there violating this ordinance, I don't think we should allow them 3 strikes to be out on a, because this is basically going to be a safety issue.
right.
So I would say if we could change that to 2, I would feel more comfortable.
I have no problem with that.
No problem. So I've got a few amendments
Yeah.
here.
You want to go through them?
Yeah, can
You
we,
go.
and I'll put that on there
And then we'll add that one to it, yeah.
as well.
Gotta club him with his hand.
What was that at?
It's line 70.
Yeah.
It says line 70.
Oh, right. Sorry. Figure. Okay, so, let me go by your numbers, because I have different numbers on here. Hopefully I can figure it out. The definition of golf cart, there is, tail lamps is listed twice. The second one should be brake lights,
On
not,
line 21.
yeah, line 21. And I have it redlined here, Madam Clerk, so if they pass, no need to follow. Line 20, nope, line 29.
You have 24.
Yeah, but that's
Must be.
not, she can do that.
It's 29 on the old one.
Yeah.
28 on your red line.
Okay, so everybody's got the red line?
Yes.
Red line.
All right, let's just look at the red line then. That's easier. So line 28 on the red line, we're gonna change the maximum speed to 25 miles per hour or less. And I'll just explain this one. The concern there was that, Hickory is, the golf carts by state law can only go 25 miles per hour. So it was 30, and we don't want people holding up traffic on Hickory in a golf cart and get slammed in the back. So we're going to change that to 25. So they won't be able to travel on Hickory. They'll only be able to travel on the city streets in the neighborhoods. Line 30, just add the phrase "and only if otherwise allowed." And then line 80,
Well, 69 also.
line 69, we're going to change 3 to 2. Thank you, sir. And line 83, we're just going to eliminate the phrase "under this legislation granted by the state legislature."
I'll second that motion.
Move to open the public hearing on the amendments.
Okay, public hearing is now open for the amendments of ordinance 2020-18. Anyone like to come forth and speak? Please do it now.
A golf cart's allowed on Riverside Drive. It's 20-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's got double yellow lines and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. They will be.
But we do get a lot of speeders, so we need to monitor that and make sure that the people do go slow. We do get a lot of bikes on the.
You notice the speeders on Riverside Drive because you live on Riverside Drive. I notice the speeders on Colonial Club Drive because I live on Colonial Club Drive. I believe our police officers doing everything they can, and they stop a lot of police officers, a lot of people for
But we have
speeding.
more traffic on Riverside Drive.
I'll beg to differ that one.
And then we do get the big trucks too, because they service the, where the tugboats are down there. So we do get them sometimes, and sometimes they go slow, and sometimes they go fast, depends on who they
Well,
are.
we're working on an answer for that too, Mr. Johnny.
I would like to see golf carts go back and forth on Riverside Drive.
Thank you.
You got it,
So
thank you,
very
yes,
much.
sir.
Big trucks where on Riverside?
Going
That's
back to
Tom.
Kirby.
Kirby, yeah.
Kirby Marine.
Yeah. Well, we know they go there because they deliver the supplies.
And lately, we're seeing a lot of them that are going to the golf course at the film
Yeah,
trucks,
film.
some larger, not 18-wheelers, but large trucks.
Yeah, we've talked to the country club, we've talked to people with the movie detail
Yes.
about keeping the big trucks off of Riverside to use Colonial.
Well,
Because we're having a problem with the trailer trucks going down Riverside and not making a turn at Colonial.
yeah, well, they're still going down Riverside.
Trailer trucks?
Would, no, I don't think there are any trailer trucks, I'm sorry. The large vans or large trucks, but not that, that articulate, not trailer trucks.
We've asked that the trailer trucks stay on Colonial.
Right. Could someone, and this might not be the time, could someone explain to me why a large truck can't go down Riverside and a large truck can go down Colonial? I understand the 18-wheelers because they can't make that turn. I understand 100%.
Well, I can, okay.
A no-truck route if they have a
I
destination.
will answer that, I'll try, and I've talked to the mayor about this recently. Okay. Both of them are no truck routes. But say anyone in any neighborhood is moving. A moving van has, if they're making a delivery or a pickup, they have the right to go there. That's number one. Number two, these trucks are servicing the country club. So they have to have a venue, one way to get in. And I've asked the trailer trucks, because of the problem turning on Colonial from Riverside, to use Colonial. But they still have a right to go there, even though it's not a truck route. That's where they doing their business.
I agree with you 100%. I was just asking to clear it up. But some people always say a big truck can't go down Riverside. I just, if they have a destination to
They
get to,
convert,
they
right.
can go down Riverside.
Yeah. I've stopped them a few times when they're making a delivery or making a pickup.
With 18-wheelers, it's almost physically impossible to turn from Riverside to Colonial.
I agree.
I've seen them back up from Riverside and Colonial all the way down to, I guess.
I agree.
The Kirby ramp and turn around on a Kirby ramp. It's interesting to watch somebody back up an 18-wheeler for a half a mile.
Okay, Councilman
Thank you.
Enzo, wanna pick back up?
So I second the motion for the
Okay, we have a
amendments.
Motion by Councilman Asbill
Adopt the amendments.
to adopt the amendments for ordinance 2020-18. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Amendments have been adopted. Okay, do we have a motion to pass ordinance 2020?
I'll make a motion to defer, and I'll explain. We need to clear up how we issue these permits, where their location's gonna be, what days they're gonna be issued. I'd like to defer it. I think we have a few more things to clear up before this passes. I have a golf cart at home waiting.
I have
For
no
a
problem
tag.
deferring, but I will say, I think that permits and licensing and all that, inspections, that's an administrative function, and this is a legislative function. But I can defer it if you want to get answers from the mayor, and we can just pick it up next month. Because the mayor's got to figure that out with his staff and who to, you know, if we're gonna.
There's a motion on the table to defer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah.
We have another public comment from somebody on Zoom.
We have a public comment from Ms. Judy Johnson on the golf cart ordinance. Let's see. This ordinance allows golf carts to be driven on our city streets by licensed drivers only, which is a great idea, but there is no provision for seatbelts to be used. Seatbelts are mandated in cars. They should also be used in these carts on city streets. The ordinance also forbids using the golf carts on the levee and on Jefferson Highway, since it is a state highway, or any street with a speed limit of 30 miles an hour or less. However, Hickory Avenue is also a state highway with a speed limit of 30 miles per hour, and carts should be prohibited from driving there since their top speed is only allowed to be 25 miles per hour. Since the police department has generously allowed adults and children to drive these carts on our streets in the past, it's about time the city collects fees from these vehicles. And may I suggest that you up the fee from $75 to $100. If they can afford a golf cart, they can afford the $100.
I think we addressed one of Ms. Judy's comments regarding Hickory. The other one, I just want to point out revised statute 32:299.4, which is Louisiana revised statute regarding safety requirements on golf carts, and they do not require seat belts. And I think to require seat belts in Harahan would make it that much more prohibitive to actually taking advantage of the ordinance. So thank you for your comment, Ms. Judy, but I'll pass on it.
Okay, so if nobody wants to second, Gentleman.
I'm in favor of the ordinance, but I'll second it to allow Councilman Chatelain to address his concerns with the mayor. So I'll second the deferral.
All right, so motion to defer by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Bodie. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
If I could vote, I'd vote nay, but since I can't.
All right.
Did you say nay?
Alan?
3-2?
Or who said nay?
Nobody said nay?
Nay.
5-0?
No.
Oh, you did say nay?
Nay.
I'm sorry?
No.
You said nay? So 3-2, so 3 yeas, 2 nays?
So it's deferred.
Deferral still passes.
Proposed ordinance number 2020-18. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman
I'll second.
Chatelain. An ordinance amending the City of Harahan Code of Ordinances by the addition of sections 86 to 64.1 and 86 to 64.2 to Chapter 86 subdivisions to adopt and set impact fees for developments within the City of Harahan, to provide for improvement of public capital facilities required to serve the development.
Okay, public hearing is now open. Anyone like to come discuss ordinance 2020-18? Okay.
I have
no-
an email comment
Okay.
from Miss Judy Johnson for 2020-18. I only have one question for the council. I know this will affect all the lots in the Colonial project, but what about people building new houses? There have been numerous tear downs, including where the mayor's new house is being built. If I understand this ordinance correctly, the impact fees come into play when additional facilities are added above the amount in the house that was torn down. Since the mayor's new house is 3 times the size of the previous house, could you estimate the cost of the impact fees on his property? And could you estimate the impact fees for any new house being built now, since the ordinance allows this fee on any new construction?
So, Ms. Johnson, thank you for that comment. And I actually did do that worksheet for the mayor's new home. He only had to pay $500 or $600 under the current ordinance. But had this been in place, he would have paid close to $3,500 for impact fees for increased facilities. It's going to be a new home. It's going to be a nice home. And so, and we appreciate that. We appreciate that he's building here in the city and building bigger and better. The city's going to benefit from it at some point through property taxes. But our sewer system cannot handle anymore, and so we need to increase our impact fees here in the city. And I guess I started council discussion too early. I'm sorry.
Sorry. You want to open for public hearing first? Or you
I think
want-
we did.
Okay, so we're going to close
We
public
did,
hearing.
yeah.
All right, so that was, Councilman Asbill had his turn with council discussion. Can we move, anyone else? Anyone else want to discuss the mayor's house?
I do want to discuss.
The mayor's house?
As most people don't realize, when you come in for a building permit, if you tear a house down and you have 3 bathrooms, you get credit for 3 bathrooms. If you build 5 bathrooms, you're going to pay for 2 more additional bathrooms. There's numerous ways through the building department now that these fees are added up. I'm very comfortable with the way they are. I understand we have a sewer problem in the city of Harahan and we need to maintain this. But at the same time, I'm not in favor of this ordinance right here because I'm anxious for someone to come in, tear down a $100,000 house and build a $300,000 to $400,000 house, and we're gonna get new tax revenue on a $400,000 house. I don't need to hit them up front. When you're building a new house, you're coming into a new neighborhood, and I know it sounds crazy, but if you're coming in to build a $600,000 house, every dollar you spend counts. So to hit someone with an extra $3,500 on a building permit, it puts them at a point to where they can't get the light fixture they want. They can't get this. And I understand we need our sewer system to work, but you just upped your taxes, you tripled your taxes, your property revenue taxes. So I'm not in favor of this. I don't have a problem either way it goes. I understand the theory, but I will be voting no. Thank you.
I'll just make another comment. I understand we'll see increased revenue from property taxes, but that is not going to be realized for several years before reassessments and the actual collections. And to be honest with you, I really don't think somebody building a $500,000, $600,000, $750,000 house is going to see $3,500. I think it's going to get added into their contractor bill, and they're going to pay it. And we're going to get it up front, and it'll be an immediate impact to fix capital facilities for our city.
And the main goal behind this is did you look at this for the whole city, or did you do this looking at Colonial and the future of Colonial?
This is citywide.
This is
I understand citywide.
but
I understand citywide, but
This is citywide, but it's definitely going to hit the colonial development the hardest.
and that's why I just want to ask you is, I know it's citywide. I might have misspoke, but I don't think I did. But I know it's citywide, but the main thing of this, why you worked on this, I believe.
It's to capture fees.
Just to capture the whole
associated with that
Colonial,
development. That is a big reason behind it.
the impact fees that we've been in talks with them to try and get. This is how you
That's right.
were trying to get it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a money grab. What it was just we need infrastructure upgrade. When the infrastructure here was, put in years ago, it was never put in for this kind of density or even the impact of the toilets that are on it now. And I know what I'm doing in building my house, and I see it, I believe it or not, I see it Councilman Chatterling's way because, it'll suck to pay $3,500, but if I want to be a part of the city, I got to understand that if I want good amenities and I want things that work, that comes with a price tag. And if I want my toilets to flush, maybe I gotta pay, you know, some upgrade to have that happen. And I think that's where we have a major disconnect, you know, in a city. I think a lot of citizens don't get the fact that things cost money, you know? People want top dollar service, but don't want to pay anything for it. But those days are changing because our infrastructure has now got to the point where it's aged out. I mean, people don't really know the emergencies that we are dealing with. Pretty much every situation, when you see us cutting a street open or in someone's backyard, is an emergency. And we're trying to get ahead of the curve, and I'll put it like this, we're trying to flatten the curve and get ahead of the problem. So we believe, you know, preventative maintenance is gonna be a much better way than fixing emergencies. And FYI, doing preventative maintenance, it costs a lot less than doing emergency repairs. So we have a motion to defer.
If there's no, oh,
No, there's no motion to
no,
defer
no,
yet.
sorry.
We're not
Can I-
finished with council
I'm sorry.
discussion.
is there any more council discussion? I have an amendment after we,
Yeah, I have a couple of questions and comments. Line, on the red line copy, line 45, you're using a 17 pre-existing fixture unit.
yes, sir.
If an inspection wasn't conducted before a demolition. So basically, based on your table, you say it's 17. I'm curious, and it's just a curiosity point, how did we come up with 17?
That is a 2-bathroom, washing machine, kitchen sink, dishwasher home.
Is that the average tear-me-down in Harahan?
You know, I really don't know. I believe so. I mean, but I don't have, I mean, I think it's a good guess.
Yeah, I have to say, you're real close to spot on, since we
Okay.
see it in my office.
And the other thing, you and I had an opportunity to discuss I had some comments on the table.
Yes, sir.
And I don't believe any modifications were made to the table. I don't know if you have any you're proposing, but a couple of items in the table seem just a little odd when I look at other items on the table. And I can go through them now. If we're going to defer, I can go through them with you separately. But since we don't know if we're going to defer yet, then I think I maybe need to discuss them now. On page 2 of the table,
What, there's, okay. Gotcha.
in the left-hand column, 4th item from the top, washing machines, commercial, 3 units. And below it, washing machines, residential, 3 units. Well, a commercial unit might run 10 hours a day, and a residential might run an hour a day or a half an hour a day.
Right.
It just seems disproportionate.
But-
I would think washing machine residential, I'm sorry, commercial should be 10 or 12 if,
Yeah, there's no fixture. That is a note 3. So if you look at
Oh,
footnote
I'm
3,
sorry.
it sends you to the next table to calculate that.
okay, my misunderstanding. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
What happens on the next table?
It depends on the drain size. So and I'm not a plumber, but this was put together by the plumbing department in Baton Rouge.
Okay. Well-
And to be honest with you, this is this table and the next table are kind of adoptions from Baton Rouge. But I'm assuming that a commercial washing machine drain is going to be larger in size, and so if you-
I don't know if that's the case. But again, here we're talking about how much liquid waste is going down, not the capacity of the machine to pump it out all at one time, Jason. So if I had a large capacity dishwasher at a commercial laundry and it was running 10 hours a day, it'll dump 10 times more water into the system than my washing machine at my house.
And they're paying sewer on that water.
that's right.
They are, but remember, this is an impact fee for new, and the whole concept of this impact fee is money's gonna go to the sewerage department, and it's gonna be available for capital improvements. If this is not a user fee, this is an impact fee, because our system and our sewer fund is, if I'm using the correct term here, is illiquid. doesn't have enough money to pay its bills. So we've got a situation with our sewer fund where we may be forced to do rate increases, user fees increases, or a new property millage, or impact fees for people who are going to add to the system's capacity, or in our case, lack of capacity. So, again, I'm not sure how to read the next table, Jason, and it may work out, but I'm not sure that it's rational. I mean, a commercial unit's going to run 10 times more at the very least than a home unit. So the unit should sort of be proportionate to the amount of wastewater going into the system.
I mean, if you want to get that far, I mean, it depends on how commercial you're going. I mean, if you're going into a commercial laundromat, yeah, they're going to use more. If you go into a commercial building, a restaurant or something, they're going to wash one load a day. You know, the way you go to my house, I don't know. I don't know what they washing at my house. My washing machine runs all day long. But a lot of commercial establishments aren't going to use as much washing as a residential establishment. It's just my thought, me thinking about it. I mean, I've worked at the bowling alley. They wash one load a day. And like I said, I mean, at my house, we wash clothes. So I think it kind of washes itself out if you want to look at it that way.
No pun intended. Well, I'm thinking a laundromat.
Yeah, I mean, a laundromat's a whole different story.
Right,
Yeah.
and
And we do have 2 in Harahan, I believe, or 3 in Harahan.
all right.
And
I'm not sure how that would fare out with the table, but I'll move on.
Yeah,
And I'll,
the only comment I would add to that is if you look at a laundromat, you're gonna have several different washing machines, and so each of those would be another calculation. So even if it's 3, even if it's the same as a residential, if you have 9 washing machines, it's gonna be
9
27
times.
units, as opposed to
Yeah,
3
but-
in a residential.
but each of those washing machines might be dumping
No, for sure.
more wastewater into the system. But let's just move on. I'm not sure how that calculation works out. I haven't drilled down to the table to see how many units it would be. It's not based on units, it comes up with a fee based on the square foot, I guess, of the establishment. But on the same page, a water closet, private installation is 4 units, and a water closet in a public installation is 6, is it? I drew a line through it.
6.
And again, in a public installation, restrooms are used fairly often, whereas much more often than a residence. And a 50% premium doesn't seem to be rational.
Okay, well, it seems there's quite a bit discussion on this ordinance. I'd like to make a motion to defer and let's discuss this.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler to defer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5
Nay.
yeas, 4 yeas, 1 nay. Motion is deferred.
Who was the nay?
Councilman
Me.
Chatelain was the nay vote. Negative Nelly over here.
Huh?
Proposed ordinance number 2020-19. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman
I'll second it.
Wheeler. An ordinance amending the City of Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 70-1, relative to police officer detail pay rates.
Okay, we're gonna open for public hearing. Ms. Meacham?
May Cazenave, 46 Oak Avenue, Harahan. This ordinance requires a substantial increase in the detail pay for policemen from $100 to $160 for up to 4 hours. Most of the details in the city are for service and nonprofit organizations that are trying to raise money for their causes. Raising these rates ultimately hurts these organizations. Please reconsider not raising the rates for nonprofit organizations.
Okay, anyone else?
I'd like to comment.
Okay.
I sent out an email to Mayor and Councilman Asbell earlier, and I think the rest of the council got it. I'm asking $30. With the pay raise the police officers received last year, with the overtime, it's a little over $28 an hour. So the $30 will be comparable to what they get in overtime with the four. Everything else would stay the same. I do believe 40 hours is too high. As I said in that email I sent out, JP is 30, Gretna is 25, Ken is 30, Westwego is 27, but $2 go to the city. Levy district is $37 an hour, 35 to the officer, and 2 for the administration. So I would suggest $30.
And I don't have a problem with that, but in Harahan compared to the other ones, how big is the area that, I mean, you have 2 square miles that you can detail,
Yeah,
whereas
Well, we have
everywhere
a
else they
lot
have
of
a larger
volume of
opportunity.
details is a lot
It's
larger,
greater, yeah.
greater, yeah,
Correct.
in the rest of the
and
parish. and
everywhere
the other
else.
cities.
Right, so they're not working as many details, not making as much money off the details.
The reception halls, you know, and then, I don't know when this would go into effect, because some of these reception halls have booked weddings and other
Right.
events several months in advance. The people booking the hall usually pays, in addition to the rental,
Correct.
pays the police officer for the detail. So they asked maybe put this in effect maybe December or maybe January, to put it in effect to where if any of these halls are already booked an event,
Right.
they won't be caught.
Yeah, and I know about that because I work a rental hall, so I know all about.
And like I said,
that.
reception
Yeah.
halls, it would create, if it went to 40, I think it would create a burden that people would be booking into the facilities outside of the city.
Chief, what does the police department get off of a detail
I'm sorry?
in Harahan?
What do they,
What does the department get?
take any
The
percentage
office?
of the-
I just want to make sure that citizens are
24,
aware.
yeah, 25. They get $100 4-hour minimum.
So the police get the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
That's the way I understood it too.
I have a comment, and it's more of just a technicality, and I'd like the city attorney's comment. At line 20, we used a series of dots. We're only amending part, I believe we're only amending part of 70-1. And we talk about 70-1 being amended to read as follows. And then we say 70-1, and then we use a series of dots, and then we go straight to C, where the first change would be. And in my mind, and in my experience, the way I would do it, and that's not, there's more than one way to skin a cat, I would say we've deleted A and B, because we don't say that we're amending 70-1C. So I think a statement saying that we're making, we're amending 70-1C to read as follows would be clearer, because the way it's written now, I would read this to say you no longer have a 70-1A or B or anything that followed C.
Okay, I move to amend line 17 to read section 1, section 71-1, parentheses, C, close parentheses.
And got a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbiel to amend ordinance 2020-20, line 71.
2020-19.
I'm sorry, about 19. I'm
It's
jumping
line
ahead.
19.
Add C behind the 1.
Oh, okay. So you're doing on line 17,
Yes, sir.
Councilman Asbiel?
Yes, sir.
A second.
Okay, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Move to open the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we may have some more, so
Yep.
you want to go through any other
We'll do it
ones?
one
Let's
by
go through them
one.
all.
Take them one at a time.
Yeah, one by one.
Yeah.
The chief has suggested in an email today that we change the $40 rate, I
Right.
guess, which
Can we-
first appears on line 40.
Can we have
20.
a vote? Can we have a vote
Yeah.
on the
Let's do that one amendment
Yes, I'm
first.
sorry.
Okay, so public hearing's now open.
non-substantive change?
All right, no one come to speak for it. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, now we have a motion to approve the amendment by Councilman Jason Asbill.
Yay,
All in favor?
yay.
Yay.
5
Yay.
yeas, 0 nays. Amendment is approved. Okay, now next amendment.
Now, Chief, I have another question for you. I know in the past, when we ran the hall, even if we ran it for 2-3 hours, we still always paid for 4-hour time. Is that the way it goes always?
It's 4-hour minimum.
It's a 4-hour minimum,
yes.
correct? Okay, just making sure. So somebody can go work 2 hours and they would be getting 160.
Yeah, well, no, well,
Well,
depending on which,
120.
it's 100 now, whatever
Right.
I'll raise it to. would-
If we raise it to that,
Yeah.
right. And that's another thing we gotta look at too, the time that they're on, actually on, working.
Councilman Buddy?
Well, the question becomes in line 21 and 23. I'm sorry, line 21 and 24. Line 21 is 4 times the hourly rate, and I read that to be a minimum call-out. If we change the hourly rate as to the chief's recommendation on line 24 from 40 to 30, then we would also change line 21 from 160 to 120.
Correct.
So those go hand in hand. And I'll make a motion that we amend line 24. We amend $40 to read $30, and we also amend line 21. We amend the 160 to read $120.
In case,
You'd also have to amend line 27 from 60 to 45.
Chief, what do the other municipalities do if it's a holiday? Do they mark up their regular rate by
Honestly, don't
overtime
know. I
premium?
would assume so, but I don't know that I wouldn't, I don't know.
Our current reads for holiday rate, our current ordinance reads for holiday rate is 1.5.
Then I would go with that. So, yes, we would, the motion would include amending line 27, changing 60 to read 45.
okay, so we have the 3 amendments by Councilman Buddy. I'd like to now open for public hearing.
Well,
Do you have
and-
more?
yeah, well, there may be, line 35, line 33 and 35, talk about, and line 30
And 28.
and 28, talk about a $50 rate for DOT-approved officers. Chief, I'm not sure if you've commented on that rate.
At present, I don't think we have anybody that is certified with the DOT, and to my knowledge, it's ever been it might be in effect. I don't think anybody here has ever charged it, because I don't think any of our officers have been approved with the Department of Transportation.
Councilman Asbill, do we currently in our ordinance have a DOT-approved rate, sir?
Yes, sir, and I'm looking for it now. Where's that? There it is. So that's what I did. I raised the $40 rate $15, and so I raised this rate $15. So if we're gonna cut the the $40 rate, then we'll have to cut the $50 rate. The current rate is $35.
So in the other items that we discussed that are motioning to change, we're upping the rates by $5 an hour, correct?
That's correct.
So this rate on line 28 would become 40?
Yes, if you wanted to follow the same logic.
Yeah, same logic, and I'd like to do that. So furthering the proposed amendment, line 28, $50 would be changed to $40. Line 30, $200 would be changed to $160. Line 33, $50 would be changed to read 40. And
That'll be 60.
line 35 would be 75 is changed to read 60. Is that correct, Councilman Asbill?
Yes, sir. But I'm no mathematician.
All right. Now, before we vote on the deferrals, Chief, can you tell us what the
On the
municipalities are at again? everywhere else around local?
Jefferson Parish is $30, Gretna's 25, Kenna's 30, West Wego is basically 25, Levy District is 35.
Okay. So 30 would put us in line with the rest.
And it, again, the 30 kind of coincides with the pay raise that they got, which would somewhat equate to what their overtime rate is.
Right. The thing with me, I want to take care of details, but you also have to look at the financials of somebody renting a hall and wanting a cop for 2 hours and then got to pay $160. That can run up.
I'm listening to what you're saying, but we just said $3,500 isn't gonna make a difference to someone building a house. $60 isn't gonna make a difference to somebody having a wedding.
Not just weddings, it's any type of function. I have a rental hall that fits maybe 40, 50 people, and if they have alcohol there, if they get to for 2 hours, just a little party, they would have to pay that much more money. I'm looking at it from not just the big locations they have, I'm looking at it from small locations also.
I just, looking at like Councilman Johnson said earlier, we don't really have the volume of details here. And these guys, I think they need to make every penny that they can. And if people are coming in, and I really think people are gonna come in, they're used to the Harahan facilities because they know they're coming to the neighborhood. And I think they're gonna pay the rate that we asked of them as long as it's reasonable, and I think the rate is reasonable. That's really all I've got. And $40 doesn't come just out of the blue. It comes after talking to a couple of police officers. So, yep.
So does someone make a motion to make these amendments?
Oh, yeah, and he had a motion
I
to.
motion for the amendments.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to amend all of the figures that he went through. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Nay.
Yay.
Nay.
Yeah. I'll do it, yeah.
2 yeas, 3 nays? Okay, so motion fails. Ordinance goes as unamended.
I wasn't there.
Okay, do you want to vote, y'all want to
No,
vote
no,
on the
no.
ordinance, or
I
y'all
wasn't.
want to discuss it
Do
again?
yeas, do it nays.
I'll have a brief discussion. Basically, police officers, we sit here and the chief's gonna say, what the other municipalities make. Harahan police officers has always been underrated. If we could pay our officers more at a detail, let's go ahead and do it. Does it affect some of the smaller reception halls and stuff like that? It does, but I mean, everything's going up in life. Health insurance goes up every year, life insurance, everything goes up every year. These police officers are stuck with the same ordinance. Let's give them a new ordinance, let's give them a new pay rate, and
I'm all for it, whichever way it went, I was all for it. I was willing to go with the low dollar amount, but I'm still willing to go with the higher dollar
Miss
amount.
May Jean had a legit,
I think it's a, look.
May Jean had a legit thing.
I wanna comment on
But in the same
that.
note, a lot of our police officers donate that to these nonprofit organizations. Sometimes these nonprofit organizations look for a detail. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times they get that detail for nothing. I think the chief works with us really good on that, finding officers that'll reserve officers that put in time. I mean, they come out, they volunteer at some of the functions we have. Our paid officers, we do pay, our paid officers. When we have events at the playground, we might have 5 police officers there. 3 of them are reserved officers that are working for nothing. 2 of them are getting paid for their detail rates. We can't expect everybody to work for free all the time. I appreciate what our police officers do. I think they're well worth the money, and I'm gonna support the ordinance with the rate it's at.
I want to thank Ms. May Jean for her comment. I do think it's a valid point. And
See, most of these organizations are struggling right now.
Ms. May Jean, I'm sitting up here agreeing with you, and I'm trying to talk about you and say nice things about you, and you're going to start fussing at me. I agree. I think it's a valid point. And even if this passes tonight, I'm going to see if there's a way we can work something out legally to allow maybe for a lower rate for nonprofit organizations in the future. So thank you for bringing that up. It's a good point that I did not think about. I think it's a good idea. But I do want to make one more amendment, because, you know, the chief also brought up a good point as far as those who are already booked or planning to book now, and I want to give them time for those, especially those holiday events. I want to make this effective. So basically down at the bottom where it says this ordinance was declared adopted on this day to become effective December 1st, 2020.
Going December 1st,
Yes,
not
sir.
January 1st?
December 1st.
I'd ask if you could go December 2nd.
You got something planned?
January 2nd.
Yeah, January.
People already have New Year's
That's
party
what I was
booked or
saying,
something,
second.
at maybe a reception
Yeah.
hall or something.
Well, if it's already so bookings on or after December 1st.
First, after, on or after December 1st.
Right. So if it's already booked, if they've booked now for December 25th, they're paying the now rate.
Yeah, how you gonna regulate that?
Well, who do they pay?
Well, the problem, the hall tells them the rates. So you'd have to go after
Right.
January 2nd.
Yeah,
Just do the January 2nd.
after January 2nd, because he is right. We don't automatically book the moment we book the hall. We wait about a week or two in advance, and then we book it.
Okay.
So what if there's bookings after January 2nd?
So January 2nd, I would think,
You don't know
to
that?
cover the rest of the year at least.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have, how many halls are we talking in the city? Courtyard? Yeah.
To become effective
VFW.
January 1st.
It's not that many of them. We can certainly notify them.
Or December
So-
31st.
Which,
Effective January 2nd, 2020.
what date are you?
January 2nd, 2021.
January 2nd? All right, I'll second that.
Okay, so we motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend ordinance 2020-19,
Line 51.
line
to read-
51, to read January 1st, 2021.
January
January
2nd.
January 2nd.
January 2nd, 2021.
2021.
2021.
Got it.
Thank you.
All
Second.
in favor? Oh, second by Councilman Johnson. Oh, you want to open for public hearing?
Yep.
All right, no one coming to speak forth. I'm going to close public hearing. All right. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Amendment's granted. Okay, do y'all want to vote on the ordinance now? We're going to vote on ordinance,
Yep.
No, that was-
Yay.
we vote on ordinance 2020-19
Yep.
As amended.
As amended.
as amended. A motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
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 I'm a nay on that one.
Oh.
4 yeas,
On which one? On the whole
0
thing or
nays.
the?
4 yeas,
On both.
1 nay.
No, not on the amendment, I voted yes for the
Oh, yeah,
amendment.
yes.
Yep, and no to the
and
ordinance.
nay on the.
Nay on this one.
So it
All right.
passes 4-1.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir, 4-1.
All right. All right, all right.
Proposed ordinance number 2020-20. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman
I'll take it.
Wheeler. An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances by the addition of section 74-27, political and non-commercial message signs, to chapter 74, signs.
Okay, open for public hearing.
I have an email comment.
Okay,
From Ms.
go ahead.
That is Ms. Judy Johnson. Finally, an ordinance I can wholeheartedly endorse, as long as as long as it is enforced unilaterally. We all know how contentious the election gets. Maybe this ordinance will help.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Ms. Judy.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
We getting there.
Little by little.
Little by little, we are
Whittle
getting
them
there.
down, huh?
Yeah, we are. We're working it down. We're working it down with kindness. Okay, so now public hearing is closed. Okay, council discussion?
No discussion.
All right. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler for proposed ordinance 2020-20. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance passes.
All right, proposed ordinance number 2020-21. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Wheeler and seconded by Councilman
Second.
Chatelain. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1885, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, for the city of Harahan, Louisiana.
Okay, public hearing is now open.
All right, I have Judy Johnson.
Okay, no one coming to speak forth. We'll now read in.
I have Judy Johnson email.
One email comment? I thought she was kidding.
All right. At the budget hearing, I asked about the total costs of the civil service debacles, the legal fees involved, and the back pay and settlement amounts the city has to pay. I was told that information would be available tonight. An additional question, are those totals included in this budget, and could you point out where in the budget I will find them? There are still other line items totally over budget. Have they been dealt with? And if so, where is the money coming from to deal with the problem? Let's see. Also, the mayor stated that he had personally brought in $1.3 million in 2019. Where did that money come from, and where was it spent? I could not find it in the budget. I am watching this meeting, so I expect an answer.
Whoa. Where do you want to start?
All right, I believe when the,
Any further public hearing? This is one and only chance. We're not coming back to it. It's gonna
Okay.
take a while. All
Let's go.
right.
All right, so
All
let's
right,
address.
public hearing is now closed. All right, let's go. Council discussion.
Well, let's address our first issue. Nicole, she said the question was about the settlements.
Todd, do you have the runs for us on that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna be discussed in a financial report.
The legal fees involved and the back pay and settlement amounts the city has to pay, or the civil service
That's
department.
fine, I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right,
Yeah,
go ahead. Is Ms. She's watching.
she's watching.
She's watching.
And do you have extra copies of that, Todd?
Yeah, well, you can get right there, that's fine.
Todd?
Give me 1 second.
You got extra copies?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
You want to?
Yeah. Before you,
So-
I'm sorry to do this, but can we take a 5-minute recess before we begin this portion?
Sure. All right.
Move for a 5-minute
Moved by
recess.
Councilman Asbos.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. 5-minute recess. All in favor?
Yay.
4 yeas, 1 absent. Recess is granted. All right, we're calling the meeting back to order at, what is it, 8:45?
846.
8:47. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the largest piece, you're right.
Yeah, I am. We're back. We're back.
Yes, we're back.
I'm going to get it.
Okay.
We're going to get it.
All right, so Miss Judy is correct. At the budget hearing, she specifically asked for some information related to the back pay and settlements and the cost to the city for those settlements. And so we put together some information to be able to answer that question for Miss Judy, for the citizens, the mayor, and the council here tonight. So at a high level, there were several settlements or agreements, I don't know the appropriate legal term, back pay amounts that were paid out during 2020. These amounts are paid from January 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2020. These are the amounts I'll report on tonight, nothing from 2019. So the back pay settlements, payroll amounts paid in 2020 were $103,000 based on civil service agreements, settlements, whatever that terminology is. So that's $103,000. The attorney fees through August 31st for some of the federal cases and the general police department representation totaled $60,000 through August 31st. So you add those two numbers, you have $160,000 cost to the city. And then and that's the cost that would be charged to the police department and included in the police department budget.
or actual cost. And then the additional cost for the civil service attorney and the court stenographer through August totaled $36,000. So that's a cost to the city, but not charged to the police department. So that's the answer to Ms. Judy's question in terms of the total cost to the city. And I think maybe the second part to Ms. Judy's question is, where are these costs in the budget? So the back pay and the settlements are primarily in the salary line item. They do include the 32 or 33% that is the retirement match. So in that 103,000, that does include the employer portion of the match that the city does pay. So the Emperor's match would be in the retirement match line item, and the remaining balance would be in the salaries line item. And the attorney fees should be in the attorney fees line item within the police department.
So at a very basic, high level, Ms. Attorney, on settlements, attorney's fees, and civil service costs, you're looking at approximately $200,000. Is that correct?
That's correct, with approximately 160,000 charged to the police department and 36,000 or the remaining charge to the civil service department. Yes, and you add the two together, and it's around 200,000.
We're not taking real-time comments, Ms. Judy. I apologize if you're watching out there in YouTube land. You ask your questions, we're going to answer your questions. I don't think, unless the council has the stomach to do that,
No.
I don't think we want to take real-time comments.
It was already mentioned anyway.
Okay.
It was already mentioned what he
just
said.
read the settlements.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that question, and maybe part two of the question may have been, are the costs projected through the end of the year? And we have considered attorney costs and any potential other settlements or Emperor's match amounts that are owed through December 31st. Those were considered within the projections. So those costs are in the projected police department expenses through December 31st. So does that answer that question for the mayor and the council?
It does, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the budget? So the budget, I think, as presented, has the actual amounts through June 30th, and we projected the amounts from July 1st through the end of the year. Certainly, it's an estimate. We certainly did our best to have it as close as possible, but we do expect some minor variances as we get the actual amounts throughout the year. We do currently still continue to project an increase in fund balance in the 2020 year. So that's the positive for the city within the general fund. So with that, I'm open to any questions the council may have on the budget process or any specific numbers contained within the budget.
I do have one, yes, Todd. I know at the budget hearing, it was discussed of a credit for the Department of Justice for the car purchases, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around, I think it was 84?
85. That's online.
I'm sorry, 85.
That's on line 226. You are correct. And the police vehicle expense was $85,000 in the first 6 months. And there currently is no amount budgeted there.
And where is the expense line where there's
That
nothing?
is the expense line.
266?
226.
It is so teeny tiny.
Right.
It's at the top of page 6.
Yes, sir, I
Of
see
22.
it, thank you.
And I think the current budget is 0. And I think we would agree that the budget amount should be 85,853.
Right, but the overspending that we have projected for the police department, I believe is around like 513, 511, if I'm not mistaken. Don't we need to modify that to credit them for that revenue for those cars?
That,
Well,
the
and-
credit would be given by us amending the expense item.
Correct.
The revenue's already there.
Correct.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
understand, but we need to,
Yes.
we need to correct this budget before we
Correct.
adopt it to give them the credit for the revenue.
Agreed.
Yes.
But just to be clear, that the amendment that we would recommend that the council consider is to increase the expenditure budget to $85,000. And basically, that's funds that the city spent on, used DOJ funds to purchase
Right.
capital equipment for the
So
for
either
the police.
increase the expenditure line or credit in the revenue line.
Correct.
It's the
Correct.
same thing.
Correct. It's an in
Okay.
and out on the city's total.
Well, their deficit is only on expenses.
I'm sorry,
Their
sir?
deficit is expenses, correct?
Correct.
So the correction needs to be in the expenses. And if, I believe what we may need to do is to, on line 226, column J, add $85,000.
Yes.
That will reduce their
Yes.
projected deficit to
Correct.
420
Change.
something
Correct.
thousand.
Correct.
Somebody want to make that?
So you're saying we should do it in the expenditure line?
Yes. Row 226.
So we make a motion to amend line 226 to increase, correct?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Todd, can you read those numbers again? This is so small, I
It's
can't.
80, it's,
To increase column J to 85,853.
correct, and it's account number for the city clerk,
Yes, ma'am.
4-112-42550, the police vehicles account.
So Karen, you're making a motion to amend this?
Yes, I mean, that's the start. I mean, we could potentially maybe have some other amendments. I was just trying to address that one.
Can we just do them one by one? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do them, is that okay? One by one, just to make sure.
85,853.
Good, Grandma.
I can't see, I'm sorry, it's so small.
Basically, we have the revenue amount in the budget right now, but the expense amount is not in the budget.
Okay.
So this mirrors the two, so it has a net effect of 0.
amendments and then,
Just do them one by one.
well, then we have to open for public hearing every time, that's
Well,
fine.
we'll do that.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler to amend item number 226 in the police budget to add a credit of $85,853.
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Asbiel. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Amendment is approved. Okay.
Next?
Next.
Okay. So Chief, when you were here at the budget hearing too, a couple weeks ago, we discussed the cars. There was some discussing of overtime. And then I know you were gonna try to submit a report to us of maybe some recovery plans of what we're going to do moving forward.
Chief, you may have
Okay.
to speak up, sir. Thank you.
Chief, can you speak in the mic? Just so, can you hear him? It's not on.
I believe it's gonna be about $100,000 before we over with, and grant monies be applied.
Do you have any, I hate to cut you off, but do you have any kind of justification for that to show us?
I'm
where-
working on getting, I'm working.
Okay, still working.
Because yeah, and I know there's another 4,000 right off the bat, but I don't have it in front of me right now. Some of these were one-time purchases, the beginning of the year won't be done again. COVID-19 has affected us like everybody else. It's also cut back on some of our revenue from sales tax. It's minimal, but it's about $12,000 at this point, at this time. And then, we're still working with finance to get some more information. But I don't have a complete report to give you tonight, but we're working on it.
I mean, I guess if you don't have it,
think it's
I know it's something we've discussed
I will go
prior
ahead,
to.
I will go ahead and say that we've asked for it for about a month now, and I know you've had several meetings with finance and others. And,
Jason.
I'll just go ahead and say that I know we've asked for it for about a month now. I know you've had several meetings with finance and others, and I just don't understand, you know, how we can't get some, the logic is you can't, to me, you can't just come up here and say, I think we're gonna be about 100,000 with no justification. You've done the calculations. If you think it's gonna be 100,000, you've done the calculations, and we need to see them.
Okay.
Before December 31st, hopefully.
Okay.
Can I make a comment? It seems to me that the chief is still crunching numbers. And all we know tonight with certainty is the amendment Councilman Wheeler has proposed. Unfortunately, I think we just need to give the chief an opportunity to work with the finance department and finalize any projection adjustments which may be necessary. So I think we have to defer on that until such time.
Mr. Attorney, has the chief, in your discussions, has he brought to you any calculations to say, hey, I think this is wrong, this specific, and was it anything of substance?
So we have had several meetings with the chief and representatives from the police department. We have talked about a number of different concerns, perhaps similar to what the chief mentioned here this evening. Expenses being front-loaded, maybe some disagreements in the calculation of the projected amounts. But unless I'm misremembering, I don't recall
Okay. Have
any
we,
specific examples on expenses.
well, the one I brought up
expenses.
before that they were calculating for overtime in the pension, that was 30-something thousand, I believe. Has that been
And-
reduced?
And just as we mentioned so this exact similar point was brought up at the budget hearing 2 weeks ago, and my response is the same, that was brought to our attention, and we fixed it,
Okay.
and it's fixed in these numbers. So
Okay.
it was already fixed.
Okay.
We do acknowledge there's some cost, and we've talked to the chief about this. There are payroll costs in the overtime line item that should be in the regular salaries line item. It's not a huge number. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's 15, 20,000, maybe 25,000.
But it's not gonna affect his deficit.
But
like
it will
that's-
not impact the police department or the city's budget in total. We acknowledge that needs to be fixed, and the finance team is working on fixing that. There's been a suggestion that some of the estimates for the second 6 months may not be accurate, but I don't know that we received any detailed line items and/or proposed changes from the police chief.
And Councilman Buddy, I appreciate your comment that the chief needs more time, but he's got a round figure in his head of $100,000, and I'm just asking to show us how he get to that round figure. And
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, without an analysis that finance has basically said, yes, this is reasonable, a change should be made, I'm suggesting we not make a change now.
okay,
That I guess my point is, the chief's not finished in his mind. If he makes the case to finance and finance agrees, at a future meeting, we can amend the budget.
you saying wait till we have accurate numbers?
Yes, sir. I'm saying that all we know right now, all I've heard so
Now,
far.
adopt it later.
I am not prepared to defer.
No, I don't want to defer.
I thought you were.
No, I'm
requesting to
saying
give
that,
more
I'm
time.
saying that there may be an additional budget amendment
Oh, there very
necessary.
well could be.
Yeah, so tonight,
But-
all we can do is
Adopt what we have.
adopt the amendment that we just voted on,
Correct.
And if further
Or unless there's other
information,
amendments, I mean, that might not be the only one. If anybody has any other amendments.
well, if there are others,
Well, you're voting on everything else that was done in the budget too, not just that one amendment, it's everything.
Correct. Right.
Everything that
right,
was
we're
done.
amending,
The-
we're amending the
budget
amended
in its
budget.
entirety.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that we don't vote on the amended budget tonight. I'm suggesting we do. We just realize that if the police department can make a case and finance says, yes, I agree, a change is necessary and it's significant,
Then they come
then
back
we,
and,
we amend the amended budget in the future,
yeah, we could
So
always, we
tonight,
could
we
always
would vote,
re-amend.
we would vote.
So right now,
I
we have a
completely
motion on the
agree.
floor.
We
There
could, we
you
could
go.
always re-amend.
Yeah.
So right now, the only motion that's on the floor is the amendment. We already
Oh, yeah,
voted
that
for.
was
So
already
now we
voted.
need to see if there are any other amendments before we vote on its budget, its entirety. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
I don't have any other amendments. That was the only one I know we specifically addressed that, we discussed at the budget hearing that needs to be.
Do you have other recommendations, Mr. Attorney, on?
No,
For
not at,
amendments?
no, not at this time.
Okay.
Okay, so you wanna.
Motion to adopt?
Well, I would just like to say something before we adopt it, and Chief, with all due respect, I mean, I believe there was a meeting that myself and Councilman Buddy, and you had representatives from the department, and Todd was there, and I want to say that was 2, maybe even 3 months ago, when your projected overspending was like about 300 and something thousand. And I just feel it's, and then of course, other expenses were addressed, and I understand more expenses came in, and at that time, it was, help us help you, provide us information. If you have questions in your department, you need to share that with us. The run sheets come out, we all get it, I will state again, and I'm respectfully requesting, and we requested it back then, we requested it at the budget meeting for something, I want a recovery plan in my possession by the next council meeting, if not sooner. We have to address this. Time is running against us now. It's gonna be the end of the year. We need to figure out what it is we need to do. And also, we have to get ready for next year's budget. We have to get that adopted. And we're still trying to figure out where 2020 is gonna lead us, and right now, it's not good. So I'm respectfully requesting, again, to please have a recovery plan submitted to this council, preferably prior to the next meeting, and whatever your 100,000 grant, the questions with the sales tax, please give it the finance team so we can address this. Maybe at that time, we can bring forth another amendment that would not be adopted till November in the mix of trying to get 2021's budget ready too. That's all I'm gonna request.
And
Okay, so we have
I
a-
concur.
I have a comment on that. If sales tax revenue variance does not affect a spending budget. So I think, I don't know that addressing sales tax is going to affect a spending variance, an overspending of the budget. Because we're not looking at a net budget, we're looking at spending, the spending portion of it. Now, if there are any grant monies that are going to be received, and we've spent that money this year, overspent that line item, then we would want to recognize the grant money and then put that in there as a budgeted expense increase, similar to DOJ money for the vehicles.
Sure.
So
And
I'm just,
I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree with the sales tax. I mean, hopefully it continues to increase.
Right.
We
But
have
if it's
seen a
not,
slight
if
increase.
it's not, you have to adjust the
Well,
expenditures.
and we will adjust it at that time, and hopefully, people get out and support our businesses. And our sales tax could potentially, now, is it gonna drastically go up? I mean, hey, I hope so. I think we all do. And at that time, we will adjust it. Again, these are just projected figures. If you give me 6 months of $10,000 a month, then I'm gonna anticipate it's gonna be next 6 months will be this. So, I mean, it's a floating document, as we've always said. We
And
I'm just not, I'm gonna leave it at that.
for the council's benefit, since the sales tax question came up, and I think we mentioned this at the prior meetings, I think in the projections, we have around 170 to 175,000 is what we have per month for sales tax in total for the city. That's net after the commissions we pay to the parish and things like that. And I think the most recent month was 205,000. And I think we should get the August deposit in the next day or two, or maybe it came in yesterday and I just missed it. So at least the prior month's deposit was around 30 grand ahead of what we had estimated, in the last 6 months. So
So you
hopefully
think that will hold true to the end of the year?
I mean, let me pull out my crystal ball.
Yeah, well, I'm working on
I
it.
mean,
I'm working on helping you with that,
let's hope
brother.
so.
Certainly, that's what we hope.
Bless you.
Just from my interactions with others within the parish, and I hear things that the sales tax revenue is still positive.
Well, we did have another new business open today. Just want to
So-
be grand opening today. We got another one coming up soon
All
too,
right.
boy.
Mm.
I'm
I'll be
working on
looking
this.
for that bump up in
I'm trying.
November.
I'm getting it there.
All right.
All right, move to adopt the amended budget as amended.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to move, to adopt 2020-21 as amendment with the $85,000 credit. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
Asbill Wheeler. Asbill Chatelain, I'm sorry. I'm lying to you. Wheeler Chatelain. And you had 4 yeas, 1 nay.
One no. Me.
Really? Yeah, I know, man. What y'all doing to me?
All right, ordinances for introduction. Proposed ordinance number 2020-22. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. An ordinance amending the City of Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 78-42, relative to solid waste collection and appropriate times to place and remove containers from the curb, and declaring trash containers left at the curb for prolonged periods of time to be a nuisance. And proposed ordinance number 2020-23. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Wheeler. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 1875 to sell property owned by the City of Harahan, providing for the procedure to be utilized pursuant to the provisions of LRS 334712, which provides for the sale, exchange, or lease of property by a municipality. And there's no old business. New business number 1, Todd Tudion, Finance Director, monthly financials with budget to actual comparisons.
I mean, I think we basically have covered that through the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
through the
I
budget
got you.
presentation, correct.
Okay. New business number 2.
Okay, new business number 2, Ms. Judy Rowan, on behalf of St. Rita, asks for assistance in planning the annual Feast of Christ the King procession on Sunday, November 22nd, after 11:30 a.m. Mass. And they're requesting assistance for barricades and a police escort.
Got it. Okay, the public hearing is now open. If anyone would like to address the council, please state your name and address at the podium.
Don't we have to vote on that?
Wait, we were talking about. what
Oh,
are we
you
on?
want to go to back to the Kingsborough? 1 second, Mr. Marie.
This is regarding the St. Rita procession.
Right. We have a vote on it.
We're not on address the, are you coming up for address the council?
He skipped
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He skipped, he skipped.
My
too
bad,
far.
I'm sorry. I was
Yeah, but we should.
getting ahead of myself.
Because they're requesting.
Okay, so I'll,
I'd say vote just to be safe.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
grant permission.
and I just want to,
Well,
I just want to make sure, and honestly, I don't know or seen this before, but I want to make sure that they are following phase 3 guidelines as far as less than 250
Right.
people.
Oh, yeah, they will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
And for
procession.
my clarification, as I read the letter, they're looking for approval of the route,
Correct.
barricades,
Provide
and police
barricades and police
escort.
escort, correct.
So I'm.
So I think we should vote on it.
Yeah, when we vote, we should be voting on it a little bit more expanded than what's on the agenda, but instead, what's in the request.
got it. Okay,
And Chief, we got that covered?
We're gonna cover it as in the past.
Yeah.
okay. So all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Councilman Chatelain?
Yep.
Councilman Wheeler?
oh, yeah,
Okay.
yes,
All right,
yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
And then we don't have address council next, we have the trunk or treat that came up for new business 3.
No, new.
And new business number 3 is trunk or treat, no limits.
All right, new business number 3, trunk or treat.
That's right, I'm
Yep.
gonna take care of it. So, No Limits Play is requesting to do the trunk or treat again, excuse me, this year. At the playground, we have a plan in place to follow the Phase 3 guidelines as far as limiting in and out, people who are there. We're gonna barricade it off and let people in and out, and we're gonna do it more as a community event this year rather than a fundraiser. So, we're gonna allow trunks to sign up, and the only cost is gonna be their candy that they're gonna hand out. And, we'll charge a small entry fee at the gate, for families, and that's it. So, this is more.
What's the date?
The tentative date is October 24th, beginning at 5:30 PM.
Is it gonna be like it was supposed to be last year,
That's
where they
right.
were gonna
So,
do?
yeah, playground, yeah, we'll wrap it around the gym
Right.
like we were supposed to last year.
Right, okay.
That is the tentative date, and to be honest with you, if it comes to be that Imperial Woods is gonna be a bust for Halloween, I might move it to Halloween night. So that there's an option out there for,
You,
I don't know how
times 5:30 till,
Five-
in time? or
yeah, 7:30, I'm sorry. And that's tentative as well,
7:30.
PM.
AM.
I'm just thinking it's not much time.
Can I comment?
Right.
Yes, sir.
There's no way to really know if there's gonna be a bust in
Yeah, and
Imperial Woods.
yeah, it was more of a
Okay.
joke.
People are coming to Imperial Woods. I don't, it's my people are coming.
I agree.
That's
And-
it.
So we request permission.
Okay, so, permission requested for, trunk or treat, October 24th, 5:30 to 7:30.
Tentative, yeah.
Tentatively, all in favor?
Yay.
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 Abstain.
All right, 5 yeas,
No.
Abstain.
4 yeas,
4
1
years, 1
abstention.
abstention. All right. That's council.
No, yeah.
And address the council.
Okay, if anyone would like to address the
Now we're
council,
ready for
please
it.
state your name and address at the podium.
We're ready for you now.
John Ream, 3 Ren Pass. How's everything going with the compost court case?
I know that you had been back and forth. I know you've been, you had spoken with Gilbert. I've seen the emails go back and forth, and with the last 4 storms we've been dealing with, I haven't been on top of it like you would like me to have been, but I've been busy with the hurricanes coming through, so I'm sorry for that. But I know that we are still pressing, and I know we're also still talking with Woods on doing something
Mayor, I
back there
don't
that's not
think
mulching.
you should be discussing this in public.
Okay,
I mean, it's ongoing litigation.
okay.
My
Well,
thoughts.
one of the things is that, what they
It
were
is still
saying is
proceeding.
that they had filled out a memorandum for the court case. You know, this is public knowledge to everybody. And in that memorandum, they said that Harahan doesn't need to go forth with the court case. Now, Jason, you know better. You know, you're an attorney, so you know more what's in line. But does this memorandum hold that they doing something? They plan to move the compost out? They said Harahan doesn't need to go any further with the court case, that they're gonna move it out. But they said they planned it. Now, do we know what they're doing back there? Do they know anything? This don't need to be under litigation. This is not litigation. This is just what's happening. Now, we have a code enforcement, and this is a code violation. And I know it's in the court, but our code enforcement should be looking and see what's going on. And I think that's a responsibility to the citizens of Harahan. And I think that you guys know, y'all looking out for the citizens, so we appreciate you guys. But, you know, we'd like to know what's going on, and it's a good thing if they move it, let us know, you know, and they should let us know. And it's a good thing, I think, you know. This is not something that needs to be hidden behind some litigation thing, anything.
Do you see a new nuisance or something that's bothered you recently? Something new, more current?
Well, there's an
That we
odor
should
that comes
address?
from back there, yeah. if you
I
wanna say
understand that's being
nuisance, yeah.
addressed, and that's the litigation
Yeah.
part. But is
Well,
there something new that
this-
should be addressed now?
this is what's happening, though. This is still out there.
That's
you know.
pending litigation. Is there something new that you think needs to be addressed now?
Well, we just.
I don't live there, just like I made the comment
Yeah.
earlier, you see
But-
people speeding on Riverside,
but if
I don't live
somebody
next to the
tells
levy.
you-
That's why I'm asking, do you notice something new?
If somebody tells you they're gonna do something, is it being done? You know, that's all I'm asking.
Things in the works, it's pending litigation, but that's why I'm asking you if there's a new nuisance that you're noticing.
Well, there's nothing new
Okay,
that I see. Yeah.
thank you.
So, but appreciate you guys looking into it, all of y'all, okay? Because, you know, we know y'all looking and watching over the citizens of Harahan. So, but just let us know, if you find out anything, let us know, okay?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, Kenner, 5th District, 4th District, unincorporated Jefferson. Before I get on to my topic, I want to make this perfectly clear that I support all of our first responders and all of our law enforcement 250%. Now, I want to address this to the people of Harahan. Article in the Advocate back on February the 3rd, the council had passed a referendum to go on to the ballot on May the 9th, increasing the property taxes back here by 13.5 mils. Now, all of that was postponed because of this China virus. Now, I know y'all don't have any trouble hearing me. No one has that complaint. Okay.
I think I
but-
figured out why Jefferson Parish put that spit screen up over there.
Anyway, my comment, I want to address this to the public. In fiscal year 2019, the unincorporated Jefferson Parish made 4 disbursements to the Harahan Fire Department. 2 of them was $37,500 apiece, and 1 of them was $300,000 in BP settlement money for a new fire truck, and the other one was $40,000 for breathing apparatus. Now, I just wanted to share this with the people of Harahan. Now, whenever there is a property tax referendum voted on, approved by the Kenner Council, or the Jefferson Council, which affects all the municipalities, I require 2 things before I even consider supporting an increase in my property taxes. 1, a full accounting of the money of the taxes that we are paying now. A full accounting. 2, documentation showing where all of the waste in our government has been eliminated, that we are running the most efficient government that we possibly can. And if I don't get those 2 requirements, if they're not met, I do not support any property tax increase at all. So I just wanted to share this with the people, and now I want a couple of more things before I close it out. This 13.5 mils is $1.2 million a year, and property tax increases, once this millage is passed, if it's passed, it's good for 10 years. So that's $1.2 million a year. To break it down a little further, if you got a $100,000 home, it's $135 more a year. If you got a $200,000 home, it's $270 more a year. Okay? Now, this is not covered under the homestead exemption. And it's also not covered if anybody in Harahan is 65 years and older and you know about the tax assessment on your property, you fill out a form with the assessor's office and your assessment is frozen. But that only pertains to your assessment. As your property value goes up, your assessment is frozen. Any increased millages, your property taxes go up. That don't affect that at all. So anybody in the city of Harahan that don't know about this program, I suggest you call, if you're 65 or over, you call the assessor's office, they'll send you a form, you fill it out, and your assessment is frozen.
Mr. Morel, if I can just chime in on that, not everybody that is of the age of 65 is eligible. Just because you're that of age, it's based on income. There's some other factors. So yes, they
Right.
can certainly call the assessor, but just because you're the age of 65
Well,
does
here-
not automatically make you eligible to have a frozen assessment.
Right.
So I just want to reiterate that to everyone.
You're right.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, but they'll give you the details on it.
Yes, sir,
They'll give you those
absolutely.
details when you call his
No,
office.
I just didn't want everybody to say, oh, I'm 65, let me go, I automatically get this. There is a process that needs to
Right.
be, so, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else got any comments, any questions?
No, sir.
Sir, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. And
I do have a comment. What brings you to lovely Harahan today?
I would come more often. I've been politically active, like I told you.
Oh, we know.
Over 40 years in Kenner and over almost 30 years in unincorporated Jefferson. I stay involved in politics. I've run for office 4 times. I plan on running again. I do not take any money from no one. I do not conduct no business other than on the record. I don't go to lunch with nobody. I don't go to breakfast with nobody. And I don't go to dinner with nobody or no coffee. So, and that way, whenever somebody says, and there can't be, nothing can be misconstrued when it's on the record. Nobody can say, well, he must have took this out of context, or he must have misconstrued this. No. Once you're on record, that's it. There ain't no getting out of it. So that's my policy. So now you know a little bit more about myself. But now I can tell you, since you asked that question, okay, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about me. I got enough time, Mayor?
You got time.
You go ahead.
Okay. As a kid, I was shy and I was quiet. But then I went into the military. I got drafted. I got drafted during the Vietnam War, and I went into the military.
Thank you for your
And
service,
that's
sir.
when I got my
Appreciate it.
first look at corruption and abuse of power. And I've been like I am now ever since then, for over 50 years.
Thank you for your services.
Yes, sir.
Glad you came to Harahan. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And I plan on coming to the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like to entertain the 2 candidates for the judge.
Oh, we like the
I know
we
they-
like
I-
your entertainment too.
I know they're busy and they had to be somewhere else. They had other commitments. But I will make it my business to be here at the next one to ask those questions.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have to verify they're gonna be here because that's gonna be getting closer to election.
Well, I'll
they
call
could
the
have
mayor.
events, but
I
we'll
will
verify
let-
that.
I will
I'll call the mayor, and if they're not going to be here, then I just might come anyway.
That's right. Well, you're welcome.
Because I enjoy this. I mean, I like hearing y'all conduct your business the way you conducted it. So
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed it, so I might
Thank
just come back anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I have one emailed comment from Judy Johnson. While I was not able to attend this meeting, making this the 5th meeting I have missed since 1971, I appreciate that I was able to have my comments heard and have my questions answered. At least I hope they were answered. Being less than forthcoming to the citizens causes distrust. So I hope you have answered my questions and take my concerns into consideration. Thanks, Nicole.
Oh.
Really.
Anybody else want to address?
Oh, all right. So we're gonna close the address to council.
Ms. Majine, did you have something to say? Ms. Majine, did you have something to say? Okay.
Okay, Secretary's report for August, $852,075. And reports.
Okay, Chief Walker.
Statistics for Harahan Police Department for August 2020. Number of calls to service are 851. We had 6 accidents. Citations issued were 129 for 176 charges. We had 16 patrol requests. Number of narcotics arrests were 9. The charges were 11, 5 felony, 2 misdemeanors, and 4 city. Other arrests were 41 for 75 charges, 8 felonies, 47 misdemeanors, 11 city, and 9 traffic. Person and property crimes for the month. Murders, none. Rapes, none. Attempted armed robbery, we had 1, and we have arrest warrants issued for the 2 subjects. Residential burglaries, 1. Non-residential, none. Attempted burglary, none. Motor vehicle theft, 1. Attempted motor vehicle theft, none. Larceny theft, 4, and 10 assaults. Thank you. Good night. God bless.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Chief St. Cyr had to step out. There's a fire that just popped up on the alarm, so we'll move on to Councilman Asbill.
I just have one request from State Representative John Ilg. He asked me to convey the message to Harahan that you have until September 30th to complete your census. We're still the highest census rate completion in the parish, and we want to continue on that trend. This is important for your representation in both Baton Rouge and Louisiana, and also for money as it comes down from the federal government. So it's important that you please complete your census. You can go to census2020.gov to get that done. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Councilman Buddy?
No report, but I would ask our city attorney, Scott, if you can just briefly summarize what the requirements of 33:4712 are to sell city property. I don't know if that can be summarized easily. If it's too much, if it's not a simple question, I'm not.
To be dedicated and no longer needed for public use, and
Okay.
that can be sold.
Right. It doesn't talk about the method to sell.
It does, depending on what you need to do.
Okay.
Depending on what the property is.
Thank you.
So I can elaborate just a little bit, just so you know, we've gotten the assessments on the property. We've also found the owners of, so if a different owners on each side of the property, they have a right of refusal of each owner. It just so happens in this case that it's the same owner that owns both sides of the property. And as long as we sell for fair market value, we're within guidelines of the law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Chatterley?
No comment.
Councilman Johnson?
No report.
Who's next, me?
Me.
Oh, Councilman Wheeler?
No report.
What are you trying to egg you on, Jason? All right, all right, this is exciting times for Harahan. We have some major projects moving forward, both infrastructure and quality of life projects, and have a lot of people noticing our progress and wanting to be a part of it, at the parish level, at the state level, and even in DC. Our new catchphrase is small towns can do big things, and we truly believe in that in our philosophy here in the city. We worked very hard as a team to come together and get us to the point that I believe that we are today. In my own personal opinion, and no insult to anyone, I think this is the best team that Harahan has ever had, in my personal opinion. There was one request that for Ms. Judy that did not get answered, and I will provide a full report of the $1,366,000 of outside money that I brought into the city last year by myself, and with help from others, and but worked on very hard to get. But I will have that in detail with resolution numbers, project numbers, and every ounce of what that money went to and what projects it was spent on. $350, just so you know, was for our new fire truck, and I am a miser with money, and believe it or not, we have that money, and we have been working every deal possible to get this fire truck. I mean, I want the best and I'm using every ounce of business experience I have. We're bargaining. We also tag on all our breathing apparatuses and everything to try to get the best deal that we possibly can. But we're working real hard with that, and again, at the end of the day, I just want to thank this team. We all work so hard. We do everything we can to work together in a professional manner, and then we also know how to have fun as a team as well. So I want to thank you guys always from the bottom of my heart for working so hard and letting me be a part of your incredible administration. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk?
All right. Pay bills for August, total expenditures, $412,178.01. No executive session, and adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill to adjourn. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. We are adjourned.